Welcome. My name is CAROLYN and I'm the sewing specialist here at Fons & Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put together the blocks in the quilt called Willy Wonky. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, please visit our website. We're going to be working with pre-cut 10-inch squares, and whenever you get a set like this, you're probably going to want to run a lint roller over them, or you'll be wearing all of this or have it all over your house or your sewing room. So lint roller is a really good thing to pick up the excess lint off the edges. We're going to be cutting from these shapes that look like this, and we're going to go down through the entire block to make this kind of wonky 9-patch. The template set is available through Fons & Porter, and it has two different shapes. One is kind of somewhat of a parallelogram. The other is this kind of odd-shaped one too, but they'll give you different angles so that you can make kind of a wonky, tilted 9-patch kind of look. So there's two pieces in the set. You can in the pattern is also available with paper template, so you could trace these shapes onto template plastic, and then you could use the template plastic to lay on the blocks, draw on them, or drop a ruler over it and do rotary cutting that way. You can't actually rotary cut up against the template plastic, but it would give you the guidelines for creating the shapes. So from these two, I'll show you how to cut your wonky 9-patch. The assorted wonderful colors and these real modern prints makes a fun quilt like that. We're going to be pairing up two colors at a time to create this block you see here. And this one isn't trimmed yet either, so I'll show you how when we get to the very end we have to trim. But we have two fabrics, so we'll take the coral color and one of the light, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll do some cutting using our tool. So what we can do here, the fun part is about going through your stack of 10-inch squares and kind of pairing everything up. So you either have, some of them have a more muted contrast, some have a really strong contrast. And that, as a designer, the quilter, you get to decide the contrast that you like within your quilt. So what you do is choose one of the two in the first process, and you lay your tool on top of your 10-inch square. Now, it can go any place along here. It doesn't have to be measured at a certain spot. Each of the blocks is a little bit unique. Just keep in mind that you don't want to slide it too far to one side because you're going to have a lot of seams in that corner there. And the same here, you don't want to go too narrow or you would have a lot of seams really bulky into that corner. So just put it in the center, align the top and bottom using the wording on there kind of as your horizon line so that you know how to place it. I'm putting it on a rotating mat so that once I've made one cut, I can easily just rotate the mat without bouncing around my fabrics or the template and come in and make the second side cut. So now I've got that cut in that direction, and if I pull it apart just a little bit, you can see there's where my cuts are, but you'll want to keep yours assembled because we want to make the second cut. And you can use the same shape, or you can go to the second one if you really want to have some fun. Drop it in, again thinking about not getting too close to the corners and using the writing on there as your horizontal line to match it up to the outer edge. Cut one direction and then just rotate it. If you don't have a rotating mat, you can use a second mat, or if you've got a small one, you can just rotate the entire mat. But this creates a 9-patch that we can simply do a quick rearranging. So here I can put that to the bottom. This is shifting the outer corners to the bottom, like this, one here, and then all we have to do is go to the very center and plug it in and out like that. And you'll want to keep this arranged this way so that you know where you're headed when you get to your sewing machine. So this also works as a great way to keep it easy to transport to the sewing machine. You could use a design board or anything else too, or if you're sewing or cutting right next to your sewing machine. But you're going to be creating a row here, here, and here. So joining pieces together to make rows. I have some already assembled into rows. Now, when you're putting these together, realize that, I gotta think about my assembly here, which direction these were laid out. No, it has to be on this end. There we go. See why keeping them from here to here is important? Because it's easy to twist them around. You have to be thinking about getting it back into a square shape when you're done. You can see that angle coming through here and one through here. Now, because seam allowances were not included in the cutting, things are going to shrink in and you're not going to have perfect matches here and here. You may have on the outer edge, but they're going to be off just a little bit, and that's okay. In the next section, you're going to be then joining these together, and if that little bit of stair step bothers you, simply take a straight edge, any ruler, come in and cut a straight line. Remember, this is a wonky 9 patches, okay? There's a little buffer included. So then you would just join those together to make your block. When you're done, you're going to notice, let me take this out of the way, that the intersections aren't perfect. Here, they're off just a little. This one slid to one side. That's the nature of this block. It's supposed to be a little bit more freeform, a little bit more fun. Now, when you get to this point, you need to have an 8.5 inch block. So you need to go in and trim this to 8.5. Now again, this is your choice of how far, one way or the other, you want to slide it, as long as you can get an 8.5 inch block. And unless your seam allowances are really, really large, you should easily be able to come in here at the 8.5 inch line, and it's on top of my block. So then I can just simply trim 2 sides at a time. If I had my rotating mat over here, I could do it that way too. Or I can just simply rotate top corner down. Here we go. Put it in. Get my 8.5 inch block. One side and then the other, and have the perfect 8.5 inch block ready to go. Now, all the blocks are going to, like I said, are going to come out a little different. So when you come block to block, you're not going to have perfect intersections. That's okay. That's the fun of the wonky, the Willy Wonky blocks. When you're done, you're going to want to lay out your quilt, because especially if you're using a fabric like the navy blue in here is very dominant, very heavy, you're going to want to intersperse those navy blue blocks and not have them all grouped together. So you're going to want to use a design wall or lay them out on the bed or someplace so that you can arrange the blocks into rows that is pleasing to you. If you'd like to see others of our video tutorials, please visit our website, and thanks for joining me today.